Okie dokie. Ho ho. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Retrohead here, and welcome back to another video. Today, as you can see behind me, I'm actually in a different spot, and I'm actually in my dad's Sega room. I've actually only done one video on here so far on the channel, as it's just recently been done. So if you're not familiar with my channel, I collect Nintendo and PlayStation. So anything Nintendo and PlayStation you see on the channel is mine, and anything Sega you see is my dad's, as it's sort of like his most nostalgic systems to collect for, and he really enjoys collecting for Sega. Now, I just want to say before we start, it's not a massive collection. He only buys from car boots that he finds really cheap and stuff, and if he buys stuff like from proper gaming shops, it's only stuff that he really wants to play, or stuff that he's got nostalgia for. So don't expect to see like hundreds and hundreds of Sega games. It's not a massive collection, but there's some really cool stuff that I can't wait to show you. Just to let you know, I was recently nominated for YouTuber in the month of July, and I really appreciate it. If you want to vote for my channel, if you do enjoy what you see, there'll be a link in the description and also a pinned comment to the video. Just comment Retrohead if you like the channel. You don't have to, but if you do want to vote for me, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's show you this room. So this is like quite a raw, unedited video, but I just really want to give you a deep dive into my dad's Sega collection. So I'll start off with the area where I actually sit, and that is this Sonic, really cool Sonic Mega Drive background, as you can see. Now, as you can see from the top where it's attached by the hooks, this is actually a shower curtain, and we only bought this on Amazon. I think we bought this from like years ago. You could probably still buy it, and I think it's about 15 quid. So if you're like a YouTuber and you want a really cool background, that's a really good option, as I think it looks absolutely awesome. So this room is actually the spare room of our house. So we do have a bed here, and that is very creasy because I was literally just sitting on it. But that is this really cool 1992 Sonic the Hedgehog bed cover with the what do you call it? The pillowcase. That's the word. And that is because this is the spare room of our house, and we do have people stay, so this is where they stay. And it's a pretty cool room to stay in. We found this bed sheet in a charity shop absolutely years ago. Next up, we have this little Sonic blanket and a Sonic bag here. I thought the bed was just like the best place to put these. And we also have this giant Sonic, this is my hand for scale, it's huge. Also have this giant Sonic plushie head, and then a little Outrun poster there. So this is probably what you're all here for, and this is the game shelves. So as you can see, not the biggest collection, but there's still lots of really cool stuff to show you here. So at the top we have most of his box consoles. So to start with, we have the Dreamcast keyboard in the box. But then we start from the left, so we have the Mega CD2 here. He actually hasn't got a boxed Mega Drive 1, but he's got 3 boxed Mega Drive 2s, which it's a bit of a shame actually. That's why he's got the Mega Drive 2, obviously, because if we had a Mega Drive 1, he couldn't even play it. Next up, we have a boxed original Master System. This is the one, it doesn't have a top flap, unfortunately, but it was really cheap on Facebook Marketplace. I did do a video about that. Next up, we have a boxed Master System 2. It's the Sonic the Hedgehog variant, which is absolutely awesome. Next up, we have a really nice condition boxed Sega Dreamcast. This one, I didn't have a channel at the time, it was years ago, but you found it in CEX for £75 at the time, which was the unboxed price. Still no idea why it was priced as unboxed. It's got all of its inserts, all of its manuals, it's in really nice condition, but can't really complain. Next up, we have his absolute favourite, and that is a boxed Sega Saturn. He absolutely loves this. As you can see from the sticker, it's come from CEX. And he absolutely loves the Saturn, as it's one of his most nostalgic consoles. And not very many people collect the Saturn, which I think is a bit of a shame, because I've played it with him and it's an awesome system. Next up, we have the Sega Lock-On. Now, I'll pull this out a little bit to show you, because this is actually like a really cool piece. Found this at a car boot for a £5. And here it is here. It's like a little light gun set, but you don't plug it into a telly or nothing. It's actually like really cool. Nothing to do with video games, really. It's more like a toy. Next up, we have a box Sega Saturn wheel. This was from CEX as well. Obviously, they don't have a price for this box, so it was really cool to find this box version for like 12 or 15. I think it was 15 quid, which was pretty cool. At the top, we have a Sonic the Hedgehog lamp and a 3D printed Sega sign. And then we have a Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary playset. And just next to the shelves, we have this absolutely awesome 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog skateboard, which is so cool. Now, I think he paid £13 from a car boot sale for this. That was a really cool find, as I absolutely love the artwork on that. And then we have a big Sonic the Hedgehog blanket there just to cover up that bit of wall. I think that looks really cool. But now let's get started on the games. That's probably what you're all here for. So I'll start here, but this is like the Sonic the Hedgehog DVDs. There's also a really cool Sonic Underground box set there. and a little handheld mini Mega Drive thing. I'm not actually really sure what that's all about. I don't know much about that. Next up, we have the start of his Master System game. So I'll just go like this and I'll let you pause it if there's anything particularly cool here. My favourite on this shelf is probably Teddy Boy, because it's the Sega card version, which is really, really cool. You don't see many of those. And they're in these really thin cases, which are much, much easier to store. And obviously you've got columns here, which is obviously going to be a Sega classic. But there is also some other cool games here. Lemmings, that's a great game on all systems if you haven't tried it. Lemmings is awesome. Moving down, we have a few games here. Back to the Future being really, really good. And Captain Silver, to be fair. And then these games, we have a few classics here. Obviously, Sonic 1 and 2, and then Sonic Chaos. Sonic Chaos, such a good game. Definitely recommend if you haven't tried that one. Spider-Man's pretty good. Pac-Mania, all Pac-Man games are going to be good. I love the artwork on the Pac-Man games as well. Really, really awesome. And obviously, the original Sonic, there's not really much I could say about that, really. Next up, sort of like behind the TV here, we have some games here. Transbot, that's a really cool game. And then moving down, Tom and Jerry, that's really fun. And Alex Kidd in High Tech World. A bit of a different one compared to the other Alex Kidd games, but a really, really good one nonetheless. And then obviously Outrun is a classic. And another game that I really enjoyed, that I didn't know whether I was going to or not, was Terminator on the Master System. I thought that was really, really fun. The Master System one is just down there at the minute, as it won't fit in the entertainment centre. Here we have the last of the Master System games, Jurassic Park, absolutely awesome game. This copy of Tasmania, my cousin actually gave to my dad, which was absolutely awesome. Really appreciate that. And there's some other really good games here. Super Tennis. This does not look like a particularly good game, but it's actually really, really fun. Moving on, we have the Sonic the Hedgehog RC like skateboard, which is actually pretty cool. A brand new sealed VMU for the Dreamcast, and he doesn't really collect for the Dreamcast, so he's only got a few games for the Dreamcast. I'll do a little pan along for you like this, but there is some really good games here. Obviously, Daytona USA, all the Daytona games are brilliant, by the way, just want to quickly mention that. And also, we have another game which is really, really good. I love it on PS1 as well, and that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, great game. And then another console that he doesn't really collect for, as he has no nostalgia for it really, is the Mega Drive. He's just got this and a couple more games. But he does collect for the Mega CD, and he does have a few games here. Soul Feast, Road Avenger, Jaguar, and Sega Classics Arcade Collection. But with the Mega Drive games, obviously you've got the Sonics, and I love the artwork on this Sonic compilation cartridge. That is so, so cool. And Micro Machines 2, that is an awesome game. He bought that from CEX years ago, and it was so cheap at the time. I can't remember how much he paid, but it was hardly nothing. And obviously Virtua Racing is going to be a great game. Moving down here, just has a couple more Mega Drive games, and the Buxed Mega Drive Mini, which is actually plugged into the entertainment unit. And also this really, really nice I don't know what the date is on this. I have to see if the camera focuses. 1991 Sega Watch, which was really, really cool. Bought that from a toy fair. And obviously the Bucks Mega Drive Mini is a really nice system to have in the collection. Got these Sega magazines here. Nothing particularly crazy here. There's a Daytona USA front covers, like a Games Master one, Sega Pro. A lot of these are Sega Pros, to be fair. Sega Power as well. And this awesome Sega Mega Drive tips book. Next up, we have the Saturn games, and he loves collecting for the Saturn, and he's got such a good collection now. Some of the highlights, Hang On GP and Virtua Racing. Me and him both absolutely love our racing games, so they are great ones. Obviously, Virtua Fighter 1 and 2, especially the original Virtua Fighter. Such a cheap and quite easy Saturn game to get hold of, as Saturn games go. Not particularly easy, but, you know, quite a common Saturn game. But an absolutely awesome one. And Sonic R and Sonic Jam are absolutely great games as well as Daytona USA. And he does actually have the other Daytona. I don't really know why it's not next to it, but that's down here. Wipeout, obviously, is going to be an awesome one. Steel Slope Sliders is such a fun game as well. Not got round to playing Command and Conquer yet, as that's not really our sort of game. And Sega Rally. That is an absolute classic and an awesome, awesome game. We also have, now this Dark Light Conflict, I have done a video with this in it. This is a bit of an interesting one, as he bought this from CEX, and inside it had the disc, but it also had the disc for Independence Day, which was like really random as like CEX didn't take it out, so we just got a free copy of Independence Day. Then we have NASCAR 98, that's a really fun game, not a very common one either, and also High Octane, another awesome game. Moving on down here, he has a boxed Saturn pad, the CD case edition of Virtua Cop. He also has a really cool Saturn boxed RF unit, which I think is like a really cool thing to still have in the box. And then if I just move this out of the way, an awesome boxed Virtua gun for Virtua Cop in the box. And Virtua Cop is such a good light gun game, so fun still today. Next up we have his other favourite collection, and that is the Game Gear. As his brother had a Game Boy, but he's always preferred the Game Gear and had one when he was a kid. So first of all we have obviously the box system, which is actually in quite good condition. It's got the odd scuff, but you've got to expect it when it's that old. And that was a CEX purchase. And then he's got a boxed Sega Game Gear wide gear, a linked Sega Game Gear to Game Gear cable, and a car adapter. You can tell I'm a Nintendo boy from saying it's a link cable. And then 2 boxed Game Gear Micros, which if you didn't know, are Japanese exclusive mini Game Gears that come with 4 games each on. So these are actually massively rare to come across in this country. So to have 2 in his collection is so cool. And I absolutely love the black one, as it literally looks like a tiny version of the Game Gear. Then moving on down, we have the start of his Game Gear games. So we have Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, obviously absolutely awesome games. But then Sonic Spinball is so good on the Game Gear. I think it suits the Game Gear's controls really well compared to, say, like the Mega Drive. Outrun Europa again is an awesome game. And Slider. This is one that nobody talks about, but I love that game. Then obviously he has a couple of ones that aren't particularly exciting, like Super Kick-Off and Chess Master, but they were just really cheap, complete Game Gear games. And another one that not many people talk about, Cool Spot. Such an awesome and fun game. A bit more of a chilled out platformer to me, but I love that game. I thought that was really good when we played it. Moving on down, we have Indiana Jones, Super Monaco Grand Prix, and Marble Madness. Probably one of my most favourite puzzle games of all time, after Tetris, not before Tetris. Then he has one of these black box Game Gear games, which is NBA Jam, which is a really good game. Probably better on the SNES, to be honest to me, but obviously I'm a Nintendo fan, so I can't really talk. We have Columns, an awesome, sort of like a Tetris clone, if you like. Bit different to Tetris, really. Then we have Super Space Invaders and Crash Dummies, which is one of his key childhood games. He used to have this when he was little and absolutely loved it. So yeah, like I say, the Game Gear is one of his favourite collections, and he's got a pretty big box Game Gear collection at this point. Obviously, they're not easy to come across, but it's not the most expensive system to collect for, which is a handy thing. And then moving on down, he has an official Sega Game Gear case, and obviously his actual console here, which I'll just move. This one has been recapped, so it's obviously got much better sound and stuff. And that one is a boxed original one that's just in the box. It's not been messed around with or nothing. Here we have the Entertainment Centre, and I know what you're thinking, that is like the worst telly for retro gaming. I'll put a bit of footage in over the top. I do actually have an Orion CRT that I don't use anymore, so that will be moved into this room pretty soon. Here we have the Mega Drive Mini, which is a pretty cool system. And then we have the Master System 2. This is the model that he had when he was younger. He had a Master System 2, not a Master System 1. Next up we have the Mega Drive 2, playing one of the best Mega Drive games of all time, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Moving on down, we have one of his favourite systems, and that is the Sega Saturn. What was the last game he played in here? Oh, Sega Rally, obviously. An awesome game. And then he has a Dreamcast. Now, the Dreamcast is one that he hasn't got the biggest collection for, like I say, but it's an awesome console. But yeah, he hasn't got the biggest Dreamcast collection, but it's a really cool system. And obviously the last Sega console to come out, which was a bit of a shame, really. Here is a cheeky little Rainbow Sonic poking over the curtains. And he has this, like, stuffed toy holder on the curtain pole that has loads of Sonic the Hedgehog and plushies in here, which is really cool. This is the only sort of, like, merchandise he has on display, as he does have a big drawer full of Sonic figures and stuff, but they're not currently on display. This is the door where you come in, and he's got a little Mega Drive Sonic the Hedgehog sign, and also his really cool Sega sticker on the wall up here, which is awesome. Then he has this Sonic the Hedgehog 2 signed by the person who did the artwork for it, which is absolutely awesome thing to have. And above he has a Fear Factory recoded vinyl, because he and me absolutely love metal. And then moving on down here, there's a couple of other Fear Factory vinyls. Reindustrialized, Genexus, and Soul of a New Machine. Awesome, awesome records. There you have it then. That was my dad's Sega collection. And let me know, what was your favourite item in his collection? And like I said, this room was only just recently finished, so it'll probably be changing quite a lot. And hopefully you will be seeing this room in future videos when he gets like cool Sega pickups and stuff. So I can't wait to do more YouTubing in this room. Like I say, there'll be a link in the pinned comment and also in the description if you want to vote for me. But like I say, you don't have to. But just if you do, I really, really appreciate it. But like I say, don't have to at all, no obligation. But if you like what you see, I'd really appreciate a vote. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!